So, obviously it's the elections coming up. Can you tell me a bit about that?
Okay, so the elections come up every single year. So we have spring elections and autumn elections. The elections seek to fill the full-time and part-time positions for officers and reps who run the democratic structure of the Students' Union.
Okay, how important do you think it is for students to get involved in that?
Well, at the moment, our voter turnout is 11%. So
Right.
of a 23,000 population, that's not a lot of students that actually vote. The problem that we have is that students are very apathetic to them, and sometimes we feel that, obviously, as with any election, the higher the turnout, the greater the representation would be of the student body. So at the moment, it's an issue.
Okay, so why did you run? Obviously, you're president of the Student Union.
Yeah, it was more of a natural progression more than anything. I was first a course rep and then became a faculty rep, and I never thought that. I thought that a full-time officer position was an unattainable thing and I would never get there. And then I had a part-time job in the Students' Union as well. And just naturally through seeing what the union did and talking to staff, I realised how important it is to make sure that, not being big-headed, but good people were actually in these positions who were actually passionate and wanted to make a change and work for the greater good of students. So I ran for academic VP, never thought I would get it, and I did, and the bug got me by that point. So,
what have you achieved in that time?
It's really hard when you sit on a day-to-day basis and think about what it is that you do. It's only when you take time away to reflect. I think I've increased representation across many different demographics of students. So postgrad representation, in previous years we didn't have any. Now we have postgrad representation on Union Council, on University Research Committee. We've just undergone our Quality Assurance Agency review. So I managed to...
Don't know what that is, go on.
Okay, so a bit like Ofsted in schools, universities are not regulated but reviewed by the QAA, which is the Quality Assurance Agency. So that was last week, and that's been 18 months worth of work of trying to gain understanding of what students feel about their experience at this university in particular. So a lot of that was work around writing a student written submission, which was basically a sample of consensus across the student body, and then actually putting forward students in front of this panel, so doing the training and things like that for them. There are lots of things I could say that I've done. How much detail?
No, I mean, what do you think is the most important thing that you've done then?
I think I've built a very good relationship with the university. I think other unions aren't as privileged as we are to actually have a good relationship but still remain a critical friend. And it's very important to try and strike that balance right, because when you do want to challenge them, you need to make sure that it's that you'll be listened to essentially, without trying to be a pushover with them at the same time. So it's a really hard balance to strike, I think, and I think this year is the best that it has been.
So for whoever comes in next, what more do you think that they need to be, what goals do you think are next?
I think they need to maintain that relationship but still stay true to what it is that they want to do. Obviously every officer that comes in has their aims and objectives that they want to achieve through their manifesto. So it's about staying true to yourself but still being able to assure that the work that you're doing is for the best of the students here. And when I say here, I mean at this institution.
Yeah.
Because I think sometimes it's quite difficult to get bogged down in what's going on across the country, and sometimes not a lot of that is applicable sometimes. So it's about picking battles,
yeah.
but having a good relationship as well.